Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episode 992. So, last time we found out a big revelation, and I had a theory, a short lasted theory, but a theory kind of confirmed. And that is that Yamato has a connection to Ace. My theory was based entirely on the fact that in the previous episode, it seemed like Yamato knew who Luffy was. Not just like from a recent kind of thing, but like knew who Luffy was. You know what I mean? Like actively had heard about him. And the only way I could really think of how that would work is if somehow, when Ace was here in Wano, Yamato had met him. Because how else would Yamato have ever found out? Wano is disconnected from the outside world. And I doubt Kaido or anyone else like that would have mentioned him just randomly in passing. So it's like, it would have to be, wouldn't it? And I was correct. I was very much correct. We also have Luffy attacking Yamato, although he already acknowledged that Yamato wasn't a threat to him, so I don't know why he's doing that. But Yamato is reminded of Ace through the Red Hawk, which, I mean, that's intentional. The Red Hawk was inspired by Ace, so I'm excited to see how he and Luffy kind of make up through all of this and what happens going forward. But I am excited to see more of Yamato because it's just like, as I have mentioned in the past, I was excited and hyped for his arrival even beforehand because of the little bit of spoilers I did have on him. But even with that, just from what we've seen since his arrival, like his actual arrival a couple episodes ago when he saved Luffy from Ulti, I'm very much just excited to see more of him because he seems like a really genuinely interesting character. And yeah, I hope for him to become one of my favorites, like I do with most characters. I want to love him. I want to really get attached to his character, like I do with a lot of characters in this series. And it can, who knows how long it'll take. It could happen quick. It could happen right in this episode. And I already like him. I really already do. So it's possible it could happen really quickly. And so we'll have to see. But I'm also interested to see how the rest of the infiltration plan goes and all. We saw a little bit of Robin and Jinbei last episode, but we also saw that Orochi was starting his entire execution plan. So it's like things are kind of progressing in a way we don't want. So we'll have to kind of see how this is handled. And meanwhile, Ulti has gotten up and is headed in Luffy and Yamato's direction. So a lot of stuff is still happening. But I am excited to see what continues to happen as we go forward. How is this going to change what's going on? Are things going to just suddenly start progressing even further? We'll have to see. But in the meantime, we're just going to get this started. We're going to find out what this episode has in store, and maybe we'll finally get Yamato unmasked, because I've been waiting for that too. It's taking a little bit for us to get to that point. And as I've stated, I already know what he looks like unmasked, because of the internet. But still. Either way, let's just get this started, hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So it's like, I feel like this episode was almost tailor-made for me, in a way. Like, obviously not. Duh, but just in a kind of like jokey way. It's like it feels like that just because it's like everything about this episode was what I wanted. And not to mention, the episode was mostly focused and definitely had the two biggest moments in it centered around my two beautiful trans babies. So it's like without question, it's like I adored this episode. So there's two major focuses in this, and that's centering around the Akazaya Samurai reuniting with Marco, Cat Viper, and Izo, and getting prepared to head in, and then Luffy and Yamato finally talking. There's also a small bit about showing the continuing of the execution ceremony of Momonosuke, but we know that's going to be interrupted. And this was more just set up for what's coming in the future episodes, preparing all of that going forward, rather than having it actually be the focus in this episode. It was more like a little secondary plot point just to set some things up. So let's talk about the stuff that was focused on. We'll talk about the moments with the Akazaya. So the polar tang emerges above the waves, and Law uses his shambles to teleport them over to the island of Onigashima, while the polar tang resubmerges to continue with the plan. We have Marco fly in, dropping in Cat Viper and Izo. And Cat Viper has a nice reunion with the other Akazaya members who he hasn't seen in forever. And then we have Izo and Kiku's reunion. Easily one of the two biggest highlight moments of this episode, and got me really fucking emotional. Like, I was legitimately crying. Like, not like super hard, but I was crying. Because this is something I wanted. I've been talking about wanting this. With Izo having returned, and we've seen that in previous episodes with Marco and Cat Viper, that is the big thing I wanted to see happen with him going forward here. I wanted to see him reunite with Kiku, and I wanted to see just how emotional that reunion would be, and we got that. It was super emotional because, like, yeah, while the others definitely missed him too, and while it was great for them to see him, again, he and Kiku are brother and sister. It's going to be more emotional for them to see each other. And while he's keeping cool and just saying, like, you've become a wonderful samurai, she's breaking down. She's crying and just rushing up to hug him because it's been a long time. Like I said in the reaction, for both of them. Obviously for Izo, it's been longer since he wasn't transported into the future. He had to live through those 20 years. But even though she didn't, it's still been a long time, even before all of that happened, when he went away with the Whitebeard pirates and everything, and Odin and all. So Kiku had to live for a lot of time as well without him, for years, and she definitely missed him. So that reunion was very touching and very beautiful, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. But we also saw that they were ready right after. Like, after the reunion, they got serious. They got ready. They're prepared to storm into Onigashima. So yeah, the plan is still going forward. And while Kaido is getting ready to make a big announcement about this new Onigashima project or whatever, we also have Luffy talking with Yamato in the attic, because they went up there, I guess, for some privacy after Yamato managed to convince Luffy to give him a chance to speak. And so Yamato reveals that he was there at Odin's execution, and that after that fact, he managed to find Odin's logbook. And I was thinking during the reactions, like, is this the same logbook that we saw Odin writing in the flashbacks? Because if so, would this logbook have all the information on the One Piece, the poneglyphs, the lost century, all of that? Joy Boy, everything? Because he learned all of that. Odin learned all of that. And we even saw when Roger was seeing the One Piece during that amazing scene, the Roger was laughing scene. We saw right before that, Odin was writing all of this in his logbook. Is that the same logbook? I almost feel like it has to be. Which means all this massive information is in there. Information that is excessively important to the series as a whole. I don't think Luffy's going to want to read it, mind you, just like he didn't want the logbook from Zeph when he was originally going to be heading into the Grand Line. He didn't want that information then, and he didn't want the information from Rayleigh when he was on Shabandi. He's not going to want this information now. Luffy wants to discover this all for himself. But at the same time, it's like that information has got to be in there, and if this book has become so important to Yamato, he knows all of this. He's read that cover to cover multiple times, and you know that means he knows everything. And if that's the case, that's insane to think about. The fact that we have another character in the modern day who knows everything, including the lost century. Like, that's huge. Because the world government has tried to basically take out anyone who knows about that. That has been their biggest secret for sure. So the fact that there's someone alive and doing kind of well who knows about that is insane. And of course, we have the big reveal with Yamato, what he looks like unmasked. And we gotta bring this up here. There is a bit of a debate, I guess you could say, just to be nice about it, in the One Piece fandom about Yamato's gender. It's been all over Twitter, and I have not been able to avoid getting involved in it even. And my view on it is what the series here says it is, both in the manga and here. And in my eyes, it's as simple as that, and no other explanation, no other viewpoint can be seen as valid. Because it's as simple as this. How does Yamato identify? That's literally the only thing you need to know. That is literally the singular only thing that matters in how Yamato is seen in terms of gender. Yamato, and it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter why he identifies the way he does. None of that matters. It just matters how he identifies. Yamato says he is a man. He goes by the son of Kaido. He uses he, him pronouns. That's what matters. Therefore, Yamato is male. It's as simple as that. And the thing is here, like, that's, if that changes, if eventually it does change and Yamato does choose to refer to himself as female and use she her pronouns, then that will be respected when that happens. But as of now, it is blatantly and openly transphobic to refer to him as female. And you could say, oh, but the episode and the manga as well refer to him as Kaido's daughter in this scene and everything. And it's like, yeah, but it's like one time. Throughout the entire rest of the time he's ever seen, he's referred to as Kaido's son. He's referred to as male. It's like there's like one, maybe two moments in the entire thing where he's referred to with female pronouns. And again, his reasoning for identifying that way does not matter. I've seen a lot of people try to use the argument like, oh, it's just because he wants to be Odin. If Odin was female, then he would identify as female. And it's like, okay, and what's the point? You're literally not changing anything with that argument. The point is, that is how Yamato identifies. He says he is male. He says that he goes by he, him pronouns. He says that he is Kaido's son. That is literally all that matters. And then apparently there's a Viver card reveal and everything that came out. Viver cards, for those who don't know, outside of the series, are these lore cards. They give lore on the characters and stuff. And people have been using that to kind of use as evidence for Yamato's gender as well, because the Viver card says female. And they even like argue like, oh, but like other trans characters say like heart of a woman and stuff, using both Kiku as well as the Revolutionary Army's Morley, who are also, yes, they are both trans girls, as examples. The problem with this argument is, though, that it still doesn't matter. What Yamato says is literally the only thing that matters. Yamato is male, because he says he's male. Nothing else matters in this situation. No matter what anything else might say or anyone else might say, that's the only thing that's important. Again, if that changes, cool. We will respect that when and if it changes. But as of now, it has to be seen as this. And I will tell you right now, if anyone tries to argue against this in the comments, if anyone misgenders Yamato in the comments, you will be blocked. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've been a follower of mine on this channel and other channels in the past for a long time, for many years. If you misgender Yamato in the comments, I will block you. I am not fucking standing for that. I have seen enough of this on Twitter and stuff, and I'm not standing for that anymore. I will not give exceptions to this. So if you believe that Yamato is female, I would suggest just shutting your fat mouth. And I'm sorry if I seem rude or aggressive about it, but I'm pissed at that kind of thing. I will not take it easy. If you believe that, just shut up, keep it to yourself, because I don't want to fucking hear it. I do not give a shit who you are. I will block you. So yeah. Again, it's partially because of being trans myself, and just that kind of thing really fucking irritating me when it happens to myself or friends of mine. It is one of the most infuriating things for me. So I am not going to hold back on it. I am not going to be nice about it. So again, even if you believe that Yamato is female, keep it to yourself. Just don't say anything, or you will be blocked. If you try to argue with me on this, if you try to debate with me on this, if you misgender him ever, you will be blocked. And I mean, if it's obviously like an accident, that's one thing. But usually with text, you can avoid those kind of things because you get the chance to edit and think about what you're typing. Um, but yeah, so that's the deal. Deal with it. But to move on to a little bit of lighter things, just to avoid the heaviness of that entire discussion and just everything regarding that. So Yamato has also told Luffy about Ace now, and that one really shook Luffy for obvious reasons. And obviously, more info about that is going to come from the next episode. But it's like, yeah, we're getting some good stuff. I'm really excited to see where this leads. And I'm hoping for some awesome stuff to come in the future from both of my beautiful trans babies, both Kiku and Yamato. And hell, even from Morley as well. She definitely, hopefully, will have some great moments as well going forward with the Revolutionary Army once that stuff comes back in. Still want to know what happened with Sabo because we still don't actually know. We don't actually have any real information on that yet. So, hopefully that'll eventually be revealed to some degree. But yeah, I'm just I'm anticipating a lot of great stuff coming as this arc continues. And it's clearly about to enter into some big stuff, probably a really big battle. So, yeah, I'm excited. I am very much excited to see all of this go down because, again, you know they're not going to let Momonosuke die. And so something's got to stop this real quick because they're really going into this execution fast. So, shit's about to go down. Probably the Akazaya rushing in as Orochi kind of foreshadowed. But yeah, let's hope for the best and see where all of this goes in the next episode. For now, though, tell me your thoughts on this episode down in the comments below. And again, misgender Yamato, and I will fucking block you. But no spoilers for the future because although I do know like a couple very minor things, I wish to remain as spoiler free as possible. I know that's not always easy to do, and I have gotten spoiled on quite a few things, especially for One Piece. But just please don't tell me what's to come. Don't tell me any information moving forward on any of these characters or where they go or what they do. I want to see that all for myself. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.